Now in this video we'll be discussing about conditional statement. In R we have two different kind of conditional statement. One is if-else statement, another one is nested if-else statement. It's like it works like any other programming language. So if statement where you have if block, and in the if block you actually try to assess the condition, and if it doesn't meet then it goes to else statement. So as you can see that first it checks whether a is less than 4. If it is less than 4 it satisfies, then enter into that block and print a is less than 4. Else it checks whether it is, again it's check whether it is equal to 4. If it is equal to 4 then print a has the value of 4, otherwise go to another else statement. That's how it goes on and goes on and on. So if statement you have the condition, you write that condition, it checks. If it's satisfied it enter into that block and do whatever you ask it to do, and otherwise it goes to else statement. And for nested if else the same thing can be done with a nested if else. So you are saying that if a is less than equal to 4, print a is less than 4, which is exactly same like the previous one, but now you are not writing multiple else, rather you are writing else if a equal to 4, then print a has value of 4, otherwise else print a greater than equal to 4. Now quickly see the output. The output is exactly same. So for here also a has the value of 4, since I have stored 4 in a. Same thing for this. And similarly we have another variant which is if else function itself. So you can use if else function and you can ask if a equal to 4, then print yes, otherwise no. So it doesn't have that level of control like if else statement, but it does your job if you have checking two condition, whether this met then print whatever you want to say, otherwise you print whatever is not met. So let's quickly go through the demo and try to understand in more better way. So in the first line what I am doing, I am storing 4 in a, control enter, a is being stored, you can see here. Now I am checking, I am selecting the whole if else block and then I am pressing control enter, and as you can see a has the value of 4 that has been printed. But instead of that, if you just change the value of a to 5 and then store it, now a has 5, and now if you try to run the whole block, if else block, then a greater than equal to 4 would be printed. Why? Because it won't enter into this block, it would go to this second else statement, and then again it doesn't satisfy, then it goes to the third block and then print. Similarly for nested if else statement, you can select the whole block and press control enter. Since now a has 5, that's why it's giving you greater than 4. If you change, you would be getting the different result. And as I was giving you the another variant of this if else, in a single line if you want to do it, if else, and you give the condition first, and if that condition is being met then do whatever you want to do here, and in the next argument you say if it doesn't mean that what you have to do. That's how you can actually understand the conditional statement. Now yeah, so we saw this thing. Now talking about loops. Now there are different kind of loops. We have for loop, we have while loop, and we have repeat loop. Most of the loop actually works in a different way, but the result would be same. So let's take an example first. So for loop, suppose you are storing 1 2 3 4 in a vector using that combine function, and then you are seeing for, then you are writing the condition that if I in vector for 1 2 3 4 4 times you are asking to run that loop, and you are asking to print I. So I will start from 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. So that's how the output you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how a for loop works. It's exactly similar to any other languages as well. Now if you talking about the while loop, now in the while loop, while the test expression remains true, the code inside the loop keeps on executing. So till the point this loop, this condition is met, which is x less than 6, this will run. So I am starting with x equal to 1, then I will check whether it is less than 6, then I will print x, and then before exiting I will increase by 1. So it would print 1, then x becomes 2, again checks, again print 2, then again increase to 3, then again goes until the point it's 5, and then once it becomes 5, then before exiting it would increase that to 6, so it won't enter into that while loop. That's how a while loop works. It's pretty simple. And now talking about the repeat loop, if you see, the repeat loop iterates a code multiple times. Since there is no conditional check to exit the loop, you must specify it inside the loop. So since if you see that earlier cases in for loop and while loop, we are giving the condition before we even start the loop, but here we are not mentioning any condition in that loop. We are simply saying let's start with x equal to 1 and let's print x. Before exiting you increase x by 1, and then you are writing the condition here. If x is equal to 6, then break means nothing, you exit the loop. So that is how we write the condition in a repeat loop. So you keep on doing all those things, and then in the end you check the condition in the end of the loop before exiting, and if it satisfies, so before it satisfies this condition, you actually give the output at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you increase that with 1, and then it becomes x equal to 6, and then you break from the loop. So let's quickly do it in our R. So we have loop here, as you can see. So first I am storing 1, 2, 3, 4 in a variable called VEC. Then I am running this for loop. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 is the output as I discussed in that PPT. Similarly in while loop, I am starting with I equal to 1 and then executing the while loop, and as you can see till the point it is less than 6, it checks and it runs, and ultimately once this becomes 5, then it will increase that with 1, so become 6. So it won't satisfy this and it will exit from the loop. Similarly, instead of doing this, you can also mention maybe I equal to 1 and p equal to 5, and then you can check whether I is less than equal to p, and then keep on printing the value of I. And the same thing I am doing, but instead of writing this as a numerical value, I have first stored it in p so that I can change in that as well. So the output would be same, because I have now included less than equal to, so it will check till the point is equal to 5, and then it would exit. And now talking about the repeat loop, as I was mentioning, so we will start from x equal to 1, and then we will keep on printing value of x, and before exiting we will increase the value of x by 1, and then we write the condition for breaking. So the condition is if x is equal to 6, it's not, it's only 1, then it will not break, it will come again and get into the loop and print it again. That's how it would print till 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in the end before exiting it will check the condition, and since the condition is met, then it would be actually break from here. Now in loop, as we discussed break statement, similarly we have next statement as well. It works in a slightly different way. So break statement, I hope you could understand that in a repeat loop, if you want to actually break from that loop, so based on a condition you can write that statement, that I am saying my condition is if it is x equal to 6, then break from the loop. Now next statement actually helps to skip from a current iteration of a loop. So suppose in a for loop, ideally it should go from 1. So suppose I equal to 1 and in number we have 5. So we are checking from 1 to 5 and we are printing value of I. But now you want whenever it reaches I equal to 3, then you want to skip that loop. So what would happen? So it would print all of them, but it won't print if it is I is equal to 3. So it would print 1, 2, then skip 3, then 4, 5. So let's quickly see the demo in R. So this part we have seen the break statement, but what about next statement? So suppose I am storing 1 to 5 in num variable and then I am trying to see. Yeah, so as you can see that I is equal to 3, whenever this if statement actually follows this condition, it enters and see next is written. So it would skip the whole loop and again further start from 4, and that's how it would go to 4 and 5. So that is actually our lesson for loops, and then in next subsequent video we will see about how to create a function. And this is a pretty heavy topic about a function, because you can actually write a package using a function, as I mentioned in the first or second classes, that you can actually write a function and create a package itself, but cannot be covered all of those things in these classes. But we will try to see how a simple function can be created and how that is being used.